Hello, folks. Welcome to Holding On with Holder, where I talk to interesting people about interesting topics. My name is Steve Holder, and I am your host. My guest this evening is Kim Birchfield, candidate for sheriff of Carter County, Tennessee in 2022. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with me. So for those who don't know about you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm a lifelong Carter County. I'm a people person. I'm a Christian. I'm married to Tammy Harden from Carter County. We have two children, a daughter who's 31, and a son who's 28. I'm firm believing in treating people right, the way I want to be treated. My parents taught me that growing up, and I've tried to live that all my life.
Okay. So you're running for sheriff of Carter County in 2022. Why?
Well, I was in law enforcement since 1978. Worked 4 years for Elizabethton Police Department, 2 years for Carter County Sheriff's Department, 24 years for Johnson City Police Department. I retired in 2008 with 30 years service in Tennessee. 2011, I became chief of police in Gate City, Virginia for 3 years. Retired again. And I went back last year for a year and had Bluff City Police Department out for a year. So that gives me a little over 34 years in law enforcement. When I got in law enforcement, 18, right out of high school, Elizabethton High School, I had a desire to be sheriff someday. And I ran before. I've got my name out there. I've been a city school board member at Elizabethton. I'm my second term as city councilman. So now's my time.
Well, you're certainly well established in the area, that's for sure. Sounds like you have plenty of experience.
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you know the mission statement of the present Carter County Sheriff's Office according to their website?
No, sir, I do not. I have not looked at that.
Okay. It says our mission is to protect and serve. I imagine that would be your mission too, right?
Absolutely. That'd be part of it.
Okay. Something else on the sheriff's website now says we will aggressively seek justice on behalf of the victim. Do you agree with that philosophy, sir?
Absolutely.
And can you comment on what aggressively would look like?
Everybody doing their job all the time, doing it the right way. We want justice, but we want to be doing that the right way and not by other means, which some departments do. And I'm not saying our department or any department here locally, but sometimes it's not done the right way.
Do you think victims are often overlooked in the criminal justice system?
Absolutely. And past few years have been the victim witness coordinator program started. That's helped a lot, I think, to help the victims out, and that's a good program. But yes, they are overlooked.
Yeah. See, another thing that says on the sheriff's website is we will pursue predators and bring them to justice in order to protect the innocent from the ruthless. I imagine you would support that also.
Absolutely.
How big of a problem is human trafficking in Carter County?
Of course, it's not the problem that it is maybe in New York City or bigger cities, but it does happen here.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing more and more as time goes on.
Yeah. I remember reading some news article last year, I forget where I read it, that said that parents selling their children into human trafficking for drugs is an epidemic in East Tennessee. Would you agree with that?
I would. Again, not as much as in other places, but
Yeah.
it does.
Do you think it's worse in Carter County than the rest of East Tennessee, or better, or about the same?
I would say not worse. Of course, the bigger cities, you'll see more of it, but I would say about the same.
Yeah. So how are things going at the new jail? I know they had some problems getting that up and running at first. So is that going well and functioning as it should?
The jail's always going to be a problem, no matter who the sheriff is. Staffing's is a terrible problem because low pay. People come in, start out there at whatever, maybe $10 an hour. Then a few months they found something better and they're gone. So I think that is a problem. The main problem with the jail is the staffing.
Yeah. I imagine the jail is, the building is sufficient for last a while. Is that correct? I mean, it's a lot bigger than the old one.
It is, and the jail is not finished out.
Oh,
There's
really?
still a list of 1 or 2 floors left that's never been finished. And, looking back, hindsight, I would think that might have been a good idea to finish that when it was built.
Yeah.
When you have to go back later, it's going to cost you more money then. So,
Yeah.
the building itself, maybe some addition or whatever to it, is good for many years.
Would that be a priority of yours to get that finished, Fair Sheriff?
As needed, yes, sir. I mean, you got to look your needs, and staffing, like I said, it's a big need. So I would evaluate that as we went on.
Yeah. Another thing I saw on the sheriff's website is a medallion of Saint Michael the Archangel, and it says, "Be with us." Would you keep that on the website, and why or why not?
I've never given it any thought. I'm sure our website will not be the same as the current sheriff's. Nothing against him, but if I win, it's going to be my administration doing things the way we see fit. So I've looked at that, and I couldn't tell you if I will or not.
Yeah. Do you believe a sheriff's religion or spirituality is something that voters should take into consideration?
Yes, I do. And because I told you I'm a Christian, I tried to live my life as such. We've all made mistakes and all fail and come short of the glory of the Lord. But yes, I do think that sheriff's religion should be looked at.
Okay.
Not that makes him a better sheriff or a worse sheriff, but
Yeah. But that does tell you something about his values for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. How much does the Carter County Sheriff's Department coordinate with Bethlehem Police? And does anything need to be done to change that?
If there is anything that I think could be better between the two departments, work together as far as drugs. The county has a team of drug agents, and the city does too. But I would say do everything we can to foster that relationship, make it better, and tell the people, if I'm elected, we're coming after you. If you're dealing drugs in our county, I'm coming after you.
So would that be a priority for you?
Absolutely.
Do you think that that's being pursued sufficiently now by the current administration?
I couldn't tell you that, Steve. I'm not sure what the sheriff's ideas are on that.
Okay. I know that you studied advanced traffic accident investigation at the University of North Florida. Can you tell me about that training, what exactly does that entail?
Starts out with 80 hours traffic investigation. And from that, you move on to 80 hours of advanced traffic. And then you got 80 hours of traffic reconstruction. So that makes you a specialist in that field of traffic accident investigation.
Yeah. Do
They
all,
be it through North Florida is where the training was through.
yeah, do all police and sheriff deputies have that kind of training, or is that
No,
something
they do
special?
not. That was something that I got involved with Johnson City Police Department. I had an interest in traffic, and so I went through those classes, and we had 2 officers per shift that did traffic as far as working wrecks and radar and that kind of thing. And so I was one of the 2 on my shift that did that at the time, and worked a lot of traffic fatalities.
Yeah. I imagine that's kind of depressing at times.
Yes, it sure can be.
Yeah. So you also studied criminal justice at East Tennessee State University. Now, is that something that all law enforcement officers go through? I would think so, but is that?
Really, it's not something they all took to go through. I think it's good to do that. It's not
Yeah,
obligation to do it, but it helps. You get a wide variety of training,
yeah.
that way.
So what do you think about all the things going on in the country with the police shootings and the Derek Chauvin trial and all that kind of thing? Do you think that's something that really needs to be addressed in Carter County? Is there a problem like that?
I think it's a problem everywhere. We all got to look at and do things the right way. I'll go back to that again. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I'm running my campaign as a common sense sheriff, and that's what I intend to do. Use common sense to do the job. And yes, I hate to see what's going on in the world. I'm sure we all do, but there's a lot of things. Split second, you make the decision, you live with the rest of your life.
Yeah. Do you feel that Derek Chauvin, I think his name is on trial now, do you think he should be convicted and put in prison?
Well, I think he was wrong. I think what he did, we saw in public on TV cameras, what he did. At the time, they say that was not a illegal move for the department. But again, was it right or wrong? And it was wrong. I understand that the man may have the other problems. So be it. But the officer putting the knee on the neck and keep it there, not letting up. Once he was handcuffed, he's under control. You've got 4 or 5 standing around. Once he's cuffed, get him up, put him in the car, get him out of there. Of course, I don't see any reason the way it went down.
Yeah. If one of your officers were to do something like that, how would you handle that?
Well, just like I'm telling you today, I'd say he's wrong. Yeah. I would intend to back my officer all the way as long as they're right. And always tell me the truth up front. If you made a mistake, tell me. If it's not a felony or serious crime, we can deal with it. But just be upfront and honest about it. And, he couldn't do anything but what we know, because it's TV cameras carried it worldwide. So we know at least what he appeared to be.
Yeah. Would you fire a deputy that done that kind of thing, kill someone?
Absolutely. If it was careless, reckless, whatever the situation like that, it was accident, we'd have to look at that. That's just will happen.
Yeah. Now, does the Carter County sheriff's officers have body cameras?
I'm not sure if they do or not. I've been away from Carter County law enforcement. I've lived here, but I've not been involved with it in many
Yeah.
years.
If they don't,
Good.
I'm sorry, if they don't, would you want to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
And
good.
that see them as well as public.
Yeah. So do you have more experience in law enforcement than the current sheriff of Carter County?
Well, I started out before he did, and I guess he probably stayed on after I retired. So I won't say I do or do not. I have as much, if not more.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, been the sheriff the past 7 years, so I don't have that on my resume, but I've got a wide variety of law enforcement behind me.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely do. So what would you say is the biggest myth about law enforcement?
That's an easy job, and
Okay.
anybody can do it. It's not easy, and it's not everybody's cut out to do the job. And I think you make it in law enforcement, and I think within a few months or at least the first year, I think you know if you're cut out for it or not. And a lot of people get in and get right back out. It's not what they thought it was.
Yeah. I'm sure it can be stressful, to say the least.
Absolutely. I always try not to bring my job home with me. You know,
Yeah.
you got things in the back of your mind when you come home, but as far as bring my work home and treat my family a certain way because of job, I always made a point to not to do that.
Yeah. I'm sure that's easier said than done.
It is.
Yeah. And now, isn't it true that law enforcement officers have a lot higher percentage of suicide than the rest of the population?
It is. And through the years, it goes back and forth with lawyers, police officers.
Yeah.
At one time, dentists were very high.
Really?
And I never thought much about that. I have a brother-in-law that's a local dentist, but dentists and doctors was up there too.
Yeah. Interesting. So you say you got into law enforcement when you was 18, correct?
That's right.
Did you think that you could make a difference when you started that? And do you still think that you really can?
Absolutely. I thought that, and I still think that. If I didn't, I'd stay at home.
Yeah.
I think I've got something to bring to the table that maybe the current sheriff doesn't. And I'm not saying what that is. I'm just saying we've got different ideas, all of us do, and the way we go about things. So, yes, I got into it at 18. My father was a constable when I was a small boy. And I always kept that in the back of my mind when I became a policeman. I got to know about local policemen, and they had a need. And I was there at 18 years old when Chief Harry Nave with Elizabethan took a chance on the 18-year-old kid right out of high school and put a gun and badge on me. And you have to grow up quick.
Yeah, I'm sure. Was there ever any time in your careers in law enforcement that you felt like you just couldn't do it anymore because of the stress or anxiety that goes with it?
No, and the reason I think because I dealt with it well, I didn't bring it home with me, and it was a calling for me, and I never thought that this had it for me.
Yeah.
There were stressful times, certainly.
Sure. Yeah. So what do you think of the present sheriff of Carter County?
Well, I've known Sheriff Lunsford for all his career. I have no personal problems with him. I have no axes to grind. He told me 3 years ago, or maybe closer to 4 now, that he was not going to run again unless a certain person ran. He didn't say who that person was. I didn't ask. Once he told me that, I was already had it in my mind, but hadn't made up my mind yet. So once he told me that, I said, I'm running, and committed to it.
Yeah. So do you think the citizens of Carter County are being protected adequately now?
Protected, yes, because I think the people that work there, and again, it's not everyone in any department, but I think that most of those good people working there have the right idea and they keep the people in mind. And you're going to have people that make mistakes. You're going to have bad apples, but that's the job of the sheriff to weed those out.
Yeah. I imagine in law enforcement, you make a lot of enemies, correct? And does that happen?
Well, yes, you do, but over almost 35, 40 years I've had in it, it's all about, again, the way you treat people.
Yeah.
And, you know, people's going to get mad if you write them a ticket or have to put somebody family in jail. And that happens.
Yeah.
But if you do things the right way, treat people right, most of the time they're going to get over that.
Yeah. Now, do you think that your deputies should treat every person with respect, even when they're arresting them?
Absolutely. I always told young people that I was training, you treat that person the way you want to be treated or like you want your mom or dad treated. If they make a mistake, you have to arrest them or give them a ticket. That's one thing. You did your job and do it fair and be honest about it and treat people right. Most of the time you won't have problems.
Yeah. I imagine you make a lot of friends and also from people that you've helped.
I sure have through the years, been very fortunate.
Yeah. So what do you think your biggest challenge would be as sheriff of Carter County?
I think two of the biggest, like I told you before, the jail for whoever's sheriff, that's going to be a problem. It's always been a problem. It will be a problem. And we talked about it earlier, the drug problem. It's a lot of things stem from the need for drugs, right? Entering, theft, whatever. Times it's murder, you know, things still, people think it got to have that drug.
Yeah. So what's the best thing you could say about the current sheriff?
He does a job in law enforcement. I respect that. Again, I have nothing against the sheriff. I'm not running because I don't like the sheriff. When I see him, we talk, and I would say we get along.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run a negative campaign. I won't do that to win. I'm going to let the people decide. They see my credentials, what I'm about. Most of the people know me or know of me. So I'll give them what I have to offer. If I'm what they want, I'll be a sheriff. If I'm not, I'll stay home.
Yeah. How many people are going to be running that you know of?
Right now, there's three of us. And more, I don't know, or could be less. But right now, three announced.
Yeah, there's certainly plenty of time left for other people to get into it.
There is, and two of us, the public announced, the sheriff, I believe, told the media that he was going to run, but at this time he wasn't making a formal announcement. So I don't know if he's waiting till later on to do that. I really don't know what his plans are.
Yeah. So why should the voters of Carter County vote for you, sir?
Well, because of the training, education, I'll need, I think, 2 or 3 classes to finish my degree. I'd like to do that if time permits. And I put it all on the table. They know what I'm about. If you're satisfied with what you've got, then vote for him. If not, I'd like to give me a chance.
Do you think a lot of people are, excuse me, You think a lot of people are satisfied with what these sheriff's doing now?
You say are or are not?
Do you think a lot of people are?
I think a lot, according to the last election, there seemed to be a lot that were not. Of course, he
Okay.
got the most votes and won. But I think, Steve, as time goes on, 4 years, first term, second term, after your 8 years, you got more people against you than you had after 4 years. Of course, you run again, you're looking at 12-year term, and you lose people every time.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it may go back to you arrested or family or they got a ticket or whatever. But I think every time it's struck against you.
Yeah.
And I would ask the people to give me a chance. I like for sure 1 term, 4 years, but if things go right, my health stays good, which it's fine, I would certainly like to have 8 years. Past that, I would not be interested.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to say that I haven't given you a chance to say?
Trying to think what other things I'd like to say. Just to, I'm a lifelong member of Carter County Rescue Squad. I sit on the post commission for the state of Tennessee, appointed by the governor. Like I said, I'm second term city councilman. About the wrestling business, I was in for 38 to 40 years.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm well-rounded.
So do you want to tell folks about your special enforcer assignment on May the 29th?
Don't know much about that yet. I was there, did that and agreed to do it, but not sure what else that's going to entail right now.
No, okay. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to me this evening, brother. I really do. And you certainly seem to be qualified to do the job, and I can tell that your heart's in it, and you sound like you got some good ideas, and I wish you all the best.
Well, thank you. I did leave out that I'm a master mason, I'm a Shriner, and I'm a deacon at First Baptist Church in Elizabethton. So,
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a master mason also.
well, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a Sir Knight.
Well,
New York Ride. I mean, York Ride, not New York. York Ride. Okay, brother. Well, thank you again for being my guest. And folks, be sure to check out, what's your website now?
it's like Kim Birchfield, Sheriff, Carter County.
Okay. Be sure and check out his website. And folks, thanks for tuning in to Holding On with Holder. Please subscribe to my channel. Feel free to share this video all over social media. And I'm sure Kim Birchfield would appreciate your vote if you live in Carter County.
Sure
Thank you,
would.
sir.
You having me tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Good night.
evening.